what are you doing? How are you? Hey, it's Nick Digilio. That's me. I've been posting videos every day through the month of October to turn you on to a different horror movie every day. It is Halloween month, the greatest holiday in the history of holidays, and you should be watching horror movies every day. Well, I think you should watch at least 5 to 10 horror movies a day all year round, but you should watch at least one horror movie a day through the month of October. And so I have grabbed a whole bunch of DVDs, 31 of them to be exact, of DVDs and Blu-rays and shit, grab them randomly, threw them around here next to the coffee table, and I reach in and I grab a different one every day, tell you about it. Hopefully you'll watch it, or I'll turn you on to a new horror movie. Some are classics, some are not, whatever. I just randomly grabbed different horror movies to tell you about each day throughout the month of October. So we're on, this is number 13. This is October 13. Ooh, 13, scary. So let me mark that off, 13. So this is the 13th movie on October 13th that I'm talking about. Very quickly, please give to my Patreon page. All the stuff that I provide is free, so if you can donate, that'd be awesome. As little as $3 a month, very little, means a lot to me. You get bonus material if you donate now, videos and all kinds of cool stuff, story about what happened at WGN, all that stuff. So go to patreon.com/NickDShow right now and donate. Patreon.com/NickDShow. Also, check out my podcast, the Nick D Podcast. Very entertaining, very funny podcast with movie reviews and guests and TV reviews and books and all kinds of incredible amounts of guests. Lots of fun I have with my co-host, Esmeralda Leon. It's a great podcast, very much like my old radio show. New episodes Tuesdays and Fridays. You can Google the Nick D Podcast. It's available on every platform from Amazon to Apple, Spotify, everywhere. And it's part of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. We're doing a live version of the podcast with me and Esmeralda on stage at Zanies in Rosemont. Zanies Comedy Club, fantastic place. Thank you to Zanies. The tickets are on sale now. Please buy your tickets now. Order them right now. Tuesday, November 15th, live. The Nick D Podcast. Me, Esmeralda, surprise guests. We're giving away prizes. It's going to be hilarious. Be a part of the recording. You will be forever part of a podcast recording, ever. Be a part of it. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be great. Tuesday, November 15th. Tuesday, November 15th, Zanies in Rosemont. Go to rosemont.zanies.com for tickets now. All right, randomly, I'm going to reach down to the pile of DVDs that are next to me for movie number 13 on October 13th of this. Oh, yeah, all right. I just saw this movie again for the 99th time. The Music Box Theater showed this in 35 millimeter on the big screen last week as part of their high-low double feature, where they team up two movies that don't really have anything to do with each other, seemingly on the surface, and then you see the movies back to back, and you realize that there are some incredible connections between the two movies. This was being shown with Revette's Duel as a double feature, as part of the high-low thing, and they had a 35 millimeter print of it, and of course I went to see it. The Craft, 1996. With Fairuza Balk, Robin Tunney, Neve Campbell, Rachel True, directed and written by the great underrated Andrew Fleming, who also directed a fantastic horror movie called Bad Dreams, who also did one of my favorite movies called Threesome. I love Andrew Fleming. I think he's great. And I love this movie. And now I know that it's a little bit weird for a straight 57-year-old man to watch this movie repeatedly and to go out of his way to see it in 35 millimeter at the Music Box. And I might go back. They're showing it again, I think next week, again, as part of that double feature. And I might go again. I love this movie. I've loved it since the day I saw it. Again, I'm a huge fan of Andrew Fleming. I think he is an incredibly underrated, really talented, great writer with a lot of imagination, a great sense of humor, and he's a terrifically talented visual stylist and a great director. I love this movie. It's about a girl who moves away from her home into a new town where she's kind of an outcast, played by Robin Tunney. Her mother died while giving birth to her, and the father, played by Cliff DeYoung, he's remarried and they've moved to San Francisco, and she goes to a new school. And at the new school, she meets these other three girls, played by Rachel True and Fairuza Balk and Neve Campbell, and they are witches. They are said to be witches. Everybody in the high school thinks that they're witches and that they're weirdos. They're outcasts. They're the weirdos. They're the outcasts. And she immediately makes friends with them because she has powers. She has these sort of witch-like powers, and they decide, okay, the four of them are together, and they make this four-way connection and they start to cast spells on people. They start to practice witchcraft, and they do things, and at first it's kind of fun. And again, this is symbolic for girls going through their teenage years, trying to make it through high school, being outcast. It touches on all of those subjects and all of the things that every teenager, especially teenage girls, go through at a certain time in their life. So it's about being an outcast, it's about being a weirdo, it's about being someone who's made fun of in high school, but then suddenly gets the power to do something about it. And this power happens to be witchcraft. And all kinds of crazy shit happens. It gets out of control. The spells get out of control. And Robin Tunney's character's like, I got to get out of here. I have to stop this. They cast spells on people who are enemies to them, who mistreat them. Like Rachel True casts a spell on this girl, this racist girl, and the girl's hair begins to fall out and horrible things start happening to her. Neve Campbell is covered in burns and scars on 3/4 of her body. They go away, and Fairuza Balk wants to be rich and not white trash anymore. So her stepfather dies of a heart attack, played by the great John Kapelos from Chicago, and they inherit a bunch of money, and then she's not white trash anymore. But weird things start happening. They cast spells on people in high school, and Robin Tunney casts a spell on Skeet Ulrich, that he falls in love with her, but he gets a little bit crazy and blah, blah, blah. So the things get out of control. Horrible things happen. Terrifying things happen. It gets very weird, very supernatural, horrifying, and it delves deep into the horror genre. And the last 15 minutes of this movie are terrifying. Bugs and snakes and witches and floating and crazy stuff. It's a great movie about being an outcast. It's a great movie about trying to be a teenager and fitting in. It's a great witch movie. It's a great horror movie. It's also a really great coming-of-age movie, and it's also very funny. It works on every single level that it attempts. The entire cast, from top to bottom, adults to teenagers, to cameos, to leads and co-leads. Every single performance in this movie is extraordinary. Everybody is great in it, but Fairuza Balk, baby. Fairuza Balk is the shit. She's amazing in this movie. I love her in this movie. I have a massive crush on her character. I have a massive crush on her in this movie. It's a wild performance. It's a showy, juicy, great performance. She looks fantastic. One of the most striking and beautiful female characters in horror movie history. Just every time she walks on screen, you can't help but be hypnotized by the way she looks, by the way she acts. It's a powerful, incredible, I think, iconic horror movie performance. One of my favorites ever. The movie on a whole, incredibly entertaining. It's scary, it's funny, it's beautifully made, beautifully shot. The cinematography is beautiful. There's really creepy moments. The score is great. The soundtrack is great. The songs that are used in it. There's a great cover of How Soon Is Now, a great cover of Tomorrow Never Knows. It is a quintessential 90s movie. It captures that time period unbelievably perfectly. It is one of the most entertaining and one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I just love it. I love everything about it. And I feel like I'm a 16-year-old girl. I don't care. I love this movie. I love The Craft and everything about it and everybody in it, but especially Fairuza Balk. Fairuza Balk's character is so great, so iconic, and so amazing. And the core of the movie. It's great. And Robin Tunney from Chicago, she is like the hero of the movie. Fantastic. Got to meet Rachel True, got to meet Skeet Ulrich, got to meet Neve Campbell. They signed my poster and all that stuff. They're wonderful people. Rachel True is extraordinary and actually said to me, best interview I've ever done in my life was with you. So I've got that going for me, which is nice. Rachel True likes me. So anyway, The Craft. Great horror movie. Great to watch during Halloween. One of my favorites. So enjoy The Craft.